What's up, Big Blue Nation, and welcome to the Wildcat Zone. I am your host, Daniel Bentley, and today we are going to talk about our great win over the LSU Tigers down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm going to go over my thoughts on the game, uh, who I think the MVP of this game was, which I think we all can guess who that's going to be. But we will get into what changed for us, and I will go over my thoughts on what's to come in our next game down in Knoxville, Tennessee, against the Volunteers. So to start out the game last night, it's pretty rough to watch in the first half. I mean, I think we maybe only scored about two or three field goals. The rest of the points were mainly free throws. Um, LSU was getting anything and everything that they wanted. They were playing good defense on us. It seems like we couldn't shake them. We couldn't drive in the paint. It didn't seem like they were shutting us off in every corner. They were making shots. We weren't. They had guys making shots against us that don't normally take 3-pointers, right? We see that in about every game, or we're going to see that continually in the rest of the season. Guys that are not normally making big shots or making big shots for other teams. The first half, terrible shooting, terrible shooting. We couldn't buy a bucket even if we tried. It didn't seem. We got it by halftime, 22-38. It wasn't looking good. I know a lot of people were probably tuning out. A lot of people were really worried that this was going to be another blowout game for the Cats. Myself, I was pretty fed up. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was embarrassing to watch that first half. We can get nothing going, and there was no flow to the offense. Only times we were able to get something in the first half is if it was off of a transition, and that's where everybody talks about how we're so good in transition, which we are. But that shouldn't be the only way that you get points, right? You should be able to set something up in the half court and run your play, and we just weren't doing that. We weren't executing. It's like the guys were. I don't know if it was they were nervous or I don't know. I don't know what it was. They were just playing. It was different. It was a different kind of feel. But coming out of halftime, I was not expecting the spark plug of Denzel Aberdeen to come out popping threes and making them. I think he really turned the game around for us there in the second half. He was our spark plug to give us life. Um, he was setting up other guys. I mean, Jelovich was busting threes. Owe was busting threes. Owe was driving in the paint, catching bodies, getting fouls. I mean, he was being himself. And that was all set up by Aberdeen. Kind of, he's not been very good all season, but he's had halves where he's been pretty good. And this was one of those games where you could see he can be a good player whenever it's the right time. It seems like I said, he was our spark plug. I mean, he popped them threes, and I wouldn't. When he shot the first three, I was like, oh no, because he's one of those guys that if he misses, he's gonna make sure he misses. Like, it's gonna miss. You gonna know. But when he's making them, he's making them. I mean, but you never can tell, especially with him. But he was our spark plug. We were cutting in gaps, getting steals. Owe got a steal. Chandler got a steal in the second half for a runaway dunk, which is what we needed, right? We kept getting the game within 15, within 10. It felt like every time we get a little bit closer, we'd inch a little bit closer. It's like LSU had an answer for everything. They'd go down there, bust a three, or they'd get a foul call, or they would get some thrown up shot, right? It's like we couldn't catch a break. It's what it almost seemed like. So it just felt like we were scratching and clawing. And I thought it was going to be one of those games that we're going to get all the way to the end, and they're just going to get away from us, right? Because that's what we've seen, right? We get down big in the first half, and they scratch and claw their way back. And a bunch of games this year, we've scratched and clawed our way back and lost. I mean, Louisville was a loss. We showed some fight. We come back, but we end up letting it get away from us. Missouri, we come back, we blow a lead, we lose the game. And Gonzaga, Michigan State, no, we weren't even in that game, in both those games, really. What was the other game that we come back in? North Carolina, we come back, and then we end up blowing it. All right, I thought it was going to be one of them games where it was going to be a heartbreaker, and that's the games that I hate to lose. They show so much fight, and then they drop the ball. But that is not what happened. I really think what flipped our momentum was Cam Williams getting that steal at half court and slamming it, and then mean mugging the camera. It got us, I think it was 69-71. That's where it got us. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. But I think after that slam, I mean, the momentum, it was building and building. You could feel it. It was building and building in the game. But when Cam Williams got that steal and dunked that ball and mean mugged the camera and flexed on him, I was like, I think we're going to win this game. I think we're going to come back and pull off a miracle. And you got Owe busting threes and taunting the crowd as he's running back, like, yeah, I just done that. I just scored on y'all. Y'all thought we were put away. That was the mentality that you could see that we were going into the villain role, like we always end up getting put in, right? And they were feeding off of that. You could tell. I mean, we had a lot of guys that were doing good things there in the second half. I mean, the first half there wasn't much to go off of, right? You wanted to see Johnson play. I mean, that was one of the ones that I was hoping to see a little bit more, get him more minutes, get him more time on the floor to get comfortable, to get used to playing in SGC ball. But you couldn't take out Owe. You couldn't take out Aberdeen. I mean, you couldn't take out Moreno until he got his fourth foul, right? These guys were hot. And Pope was sticking with them. Only taking them out when they needed breathers, you could tell. He was sticking with it with his guys of Yelovich, Moreno, Owe, Aberdeen, and Chandler. He set Diabate. I thought Diabate got some good rebounds for us, but I think he was hurting us more than what he was helping us. That stinks because I know we probably paid a pretty penny to get him to come from Alabama to us, but he's not been great. I mean, he's good on the defensive end. Like when we need a defensive stop, I think he needs to be put in there because he's a body that can clog up the paint. But when it comes to offensively, he just is not very good offensively. And maybe he just hadn't had his breakout game, and we've seen that time and time again. Maybe his time will come, but I think the best thing for this team is that he is not in the crunch time situations. So, looking at the box score, you got Yelovich in 11 points and 5 rebounds. Moreno with 10 points and 8 rebounds. Owe with a whopping 21 points and 4 rebounds. That's his 4th game, I believe, with over 20 points. And you had Aberdeen with 17 points. He was 5 for 5 on free throws, which helped us out a lot. Free throw shooting tonight was not very good, but Aberdeen was knocking them down. And Chandler had 9 points, but he was also shooting 50% from behind the arc, just as Owe was shooting 50% from behind the arc. I think Owe was 3 for 6, and Chandler was 2 for 4. But I think those are the guys that we need. The smaller lineup, I think, is what throws teams off. And I think another thing that helped us in the second half was the defense. The defense, the press that we set up on LSU, it's like they didn't know what to do. And I think we needed to really start the game off like that. I think it was Missouri. It was either Missouri or Indiana. We started off in the first half doing the press, and they were just discombobulated. Of course, we end up, blowing those games, or not really blowing the Indiana game. We end up coming back and beating them. But I think we need to play more full court press. I mean, the 2-3 press, I think it throws teams off. They're not ready. Because I like how Pup does we're going to press you. As soon as y'all get across half court, we're going to go man-to-man, or we're going to go to zone. We're going to completely change the defensive scheme, right? And I think that throws teams off. I do like that aspect of it because you catch guys slipping. That's when you get guys like Owe and Chandler getting steals, Cam Williams getting steals. I mean, that's what happens, right? I think defensively we got a little bit better towards the end of the game, obviously. I mean, we ended up winning. But the MVP of the game was Malachi Moreno. This freshman is out here living the Kentucky fan boy dream. I mean, the kid grew up a UK fan. He's playing for the school that he loves, and he's hitting down a buzzer beater that will go down in history as what people are calling the Moreno miracle, right? He's our MVP. He played with 4 fouls. From the 8-minute mark in the second half, he was put in, and he did not foul out once. He was playing with 4 fouls. I don't know of any freshman a freshman center that can get 4 fouls and not get fouled out in those final 8 minutes. That is impressive. I really thought this kid was probably going to sit the bench, considering Brandon Garrison coming back, and you had Jayden Quaintance coming back at some point. I really thought he would be a third string, and he's not. He's not at all. I mean, he's grown up. I mean, you could tell he was playing big boy ball, especially in the first half. He was part of the reason we got some of them field goals. He was banging bodies down there and getting his shots. He was doing his role. And when our guys play the roles that they were supposed to be in, that's when they thrive. That's when you see the ball sharing. That's when you see the playmaking. That's when you see the shots fall. I think defensively, we got to work on defending the 3. Got to work on communicating on defense. And we got to work on rebounding defensively. I couldn't tell you how many times LSU shot 3, and there would be about 3 or 4 white jerseys in there and only 1 to 2 blue jerseys in there. I think you need at least 3 blue jerseys in there to try to get that rebound, because it's 3-pointer, it's a 50-50 ball. It's going to go out towards the arc. We need to clean that up, especially if we're going to do great things. We need to clean that up. So, Malachi Moreno is our MVP of the game. He got an amazing pass from Colin Chandler, which that final sequence with 1.6 seconds left, I was sweating to say the least, because the last time Colin Chandler threw an inbound pass, it got picked off and we lost the game. And I was like, why is he inbounding it? This is not a good look right now. And as soon as he chucked that ball, down the court, and I see Moreno grab it, turn, and I seen the ball in the air when the lights went off. I was like, oh my God, he just made it. He just made this shot. We just won this game. We come back from 18 down and won this game. I was probably ecstatic as everybody else was in Big Blue Nation. I mean, hooping and hollering. I'm not going to lie. Hooping and hollering. I mean, this is one of the. This always happens to us, right? We always get the other team gets the last second shot and puts the nail in the coffin and sends us home with our tail between our legs. And it's always seems to happen to us, but now I feel like the table's flipped. The roles are flipped. I mean, it obviously did. We won the game. It was an amazing inbounds play. They're trying to say, PR team for UK is trying to say that, Moreno wasn't the intended target. What does it matter? He caught the ball. It was a great pass. He caught the ball, turned, and shot and made it. A beautiful shot. Uncontested, beautiful shot. And won the ball game. He's out here living his dream. His dream. So I'm going to preview our game coming up Saturday at noon against the Tennessee Vols down in Knoxville. It'll be another away game for the Cats. Knoxville's always a hard place to play in. It's loud. They play their fight song every 5 minutes. It seems like 10 minutes every 2 seconds. No shade on them, but, to each its own. This is a matchup that it will be interesting because whereas Tennessee earlier this season, they upset Houston, but then they got punked by a not-so-good Kansas team in the next game after that. Tennessee's been one of those teams that's kind of been like us. There will be games where they don't play as hot, and then there's games where they are hitting everything under the sun. Kind of like the Cal teams that we would have in the past. I mean, games where we would be dominating. I mean, hitting everything under the sun, and then other games you're like, why are you shooting that? From what I understand from talking to people that I know that are Tennessee fans, it's kind of been a wishy-washy kind of season, right, for them. There'll be games where they'll be dominating, and then the next 2 or 3 games they will choke. So I don't know. I don't have any expectations going into this game in Knoxville. It's always a rowdy environment. We have beat them in the last 4 times we've been down there. 4 out of the 5 times we've been down there. Pope won down there last year, swept them last year in both games. So it's something to keep in mind, but they did get their revenge in March Madness. Unfortunately, even though they weren't playing a fully healthy Kentucky team. We didn't have Jackson Robinson, but that's in the past. That is what it is. It's about now, today's team that we have, and I think the LSU game for us it may be a turning point for this team's story. I don't know. We'll just have to sit back, continue cheering on the Cats, and supporting them as best as we can. I mean, we're not out there on the floor shooting the ball, making plays, but by God, we can cheer them on and support them. And this game in Knoxville, it'll be interesting. One thing we just cannot get behind early with this team, because that place, I've been in that place many times. The fans can take control of the game in a way. If Tennessee gets ahead early on us, it's good. I don't know if we'll win. I don't have an expectation. But if we play and get behind like we have been doing all season, I don't think it'll be a win for us. But we have a potential chance to win. but I do not know. I have no expectation going into it. I didn't have any expectations going into the Missouri game. I didn't have any expectations going into the Mississippi State game. I didn't have any expectations going into the LSU game. So all we can do is hope for a win, cheer for these boys, support them. To the ones that are going, good luck. That is a hostile environment. You wear that blue proud. You be loud. My favorite thing in the world is hearing the Go Big Blue chants in Thompson Bowling Arena. It's a beautiful sound. For those that don't know, I am from Tennessee. I hear the trash talk all year. So this game is one of the games that I look forward to, but I also don't look forward to, because if we lose, it's like a week of haha, we beat you kind of thing. But that's all I have. And I will say Godspeed. Crack you open a cold L8. And go Cats.